Well, it's time for a little bit of front porch philosophy. And I'm just wondering if you, like me, have noticed that our country is in precipitous decline. uh, in every in every area, our country is declining into worse than a third world country. I have a home in a third world country, and at least there you can afford to live, and frankly, you have more freedom. This has kind of turned into a, a hegemony of the wealthy and the corrupt. What do I mean by that? Well, let's take the situation with our highest law enforcement agencies, okay? They are collaborating with corrupt political hacks in the legal systems across the country to persecute and torture essentially an innocent man. I'm speaking, of course, of President Trump. I mean, this travesty in New York has, I was going to say, turned our legal system into a laughing stock throughout the world, but it didn't have to turn it into that because it already was. It just had not become as public as it now is. I mean, we all know that our legal system favors the wealthy and doesn't particularly like conservatives. That is kind of a money-making scam at this point, even down to the way we treat our law enforcement agents. They are now sent out by our legal system to be VIG collectors for the state. Toward the end of the month, all of a sudden, they're pulling over everybody going 5 miles over the speed limit in order for the state to meet its budgetary needs. I mean, that's what they do. That's what they're doing. And the police don't like it. They don't like being used like that, but that's where we are now. But at every level of our legal system now is just gone. It's gone. It's gone. But it doesn't just stop there. We have a president that our FBI and our Department of Justice protected in two areas now that we know they lied. The Hunter Biden laptop, which the FBI, Christopher Wray, the most dangerous man in America, lied, held it for 2 years, and said it was Russian disinformation. That's all it was. Now it was absolute. It's been introduced as evidence in a court case, which by the way, Hunter will be allowed to walk from in one way or another. But now they've had to admit, yeah, it's real. But for 2 years, especially during an election, when according to the polls it would have made a difference of 17 points, Christopher Wray, Department of Justice, the FBI Department of Justice, covered it up. Then we have the diaries. The diaries that our legal system, again, the FBI said, oh, it's not a real diary. It's not a real diary. Biden's daughter's diary. Can't remember her name now, the poor girl, who evidently is just something of a wacko. But she has admitted, yeah, that's my real diary. And what did it say in it? What does it say? How sick she got of having her father stripped down naked and get in the shower with her when she was a little girl growing up. Not an infant. You know, a girl whose body was maturing, and he would strip down naked and get in the shower with her. And she said, I would wait till 11 o'clock at night to shower in hopes that he wouldn't come in her diary. And our FBI and DOJ covered that up. That's where we are. That's where we are. But it doesn't stop there even. All across the country we're seeing the decay. Can we admit that every one of our cities now is owned and operated and desecrated and destroyed by the predator class. They moved into every major city and have laid waste to them. I was raised in Baltimore City. It was like a dream world when I lived there in the 60s. And the predator class came in. And now Baltimore City is a cesspool. And it's a cesspool like Detroit, like Cleveland, like every other city, the predator class of any size that the predator class has moved into and been allowed to destroy. Been allowed to destroy. Okay? Think about it. They are, the predator class in our country now has been declared, quote, beneath the law. And they can do pretty much whatever they want. In the town where my wife and I live, we were looking at a home. Two things happened. We were trying to buy a home in the city, and we're looking at a home standing on the doorstep, and a black guy was walking in the middle of the street, looked like in his 40s, smoking a cigarette. And I yelled out to him, "Excuse me, sir, do you think it'd be safe for us to live here?" He said, "Hell no," and just kept on walking. Thank God, bless his heart. Hell no, just kept on walking. So we went to another neighborhood a couple blocks away. And a guy came across the street and said, "You're not thinking of buying that house, are you?" Black guy. We said, "Well, we thought about it." He said, "Don't do it." He said, "We just had a murder down the street of a woman trying to run a little corner store." And he said, "I have 8 kids. I'm doing everything I can to get us out of here." So the predator class has been allowed to destroy our cities. Our cities. Law enforcement to protect our children no longer exists. I guess you just saw Oregon now has passed a law. It's no longer against the law in Oregon for an adult male to expose himself to children. Now, they'll deny it. Say, "Oh, it's not what that means." It is what it means. It is what it means. Stop lying to us. Stop lying to us. So that's where we are. And it doesn't even stop at the water's edge. The war in Ukraine is lost, and yet Joe Biden just gave an interview saying Russia's troops are decimated. It's an outright lie. Russia's munitions are they have 10 times the munitions that the proxy NATO forces do there, and 10 times plus the men under arms, and they're sweeping across Ukraine. They will soon take Odessa. Just mark my words. Also, right now, while the United States is in economic decline, prices through the ceiling, you know, our GDP is lower all the time. It's tough to find a job that pays enough to even live on. In Russia, they're holding an economic conference right now, as we speak. 25,000 people from around the country, because of how well their economy is doing, which Biden said we were going to destroy. And let me finish on this, since I'm on that war over there, which we have lost. I want you to think about something. We have now shown the entire world that our best weapons are trash. At every turn, Russia shoots them down, jams their radar. We keep saying, well, this super weapon's going to turn this war, or how Biden does it. We're sending a super weapon, and it's going to decide this war. And then, as Putin said when we sent our super weapon tanks, well, they'll burn like the other tanks you sent, and they did. So that's where we are, and we need to turn this country around. There's one way of doing it, one way and only one way, and that is elect Donald Trump. I'm going to say it flat out, elect Donald Trump. If we do not, the abyss is inexorable, okay? The abyss is, so for God's sake, jump in with both feet, fight day and night, and let's get Donald Trump back in the White House, or as the Rolling Stones say, paint it black.